Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing my testimony of how I came out of the New Age and gave my life to Jesus Christ and haven't looked back ever since. I hope that you guys enjoy what I've got to say and perhaps take something from it, and if not, I hope that you guys just enjoy it anyway, because I love a good story and I feel like this is a really nice story to share. So I hope that you guys do enjoy it. I've now said that like a million times. I've also got my little lady on me. She's like putting her claws in me. Hello, this is little Charlie. I love her so much. I'm gonna get started with the story as I got distracted by Kat, and she is sitting on me right now. She's sitting on one of my legs, so yeah, she's all comfortable. So yeah, anyway, so basically before I came to Jesus Christ, I was very into like new agey type things. So I was into like tarot card readings, astrological birth chart readings, astrology in general, crystal healing. I was into all that sort of stuff. And in university, I was really into like the astrological readings, and I did my birth chart, I did others, and basically some of it was like scarily accurate, but then like other bits, I was a bit like, oh, is that true or not? I was basically into anything that could tell the future. Like telling the future gave me comfort of what was to come in my life, especially if it was positive things. Like, and I was waiting for that big break, like constantly. I just felt like I was constantly waiting for a big break that never basically came. And I feel like with the birth charts, like looking back at it, a lot of truth and lies were mixed in it together. And, I do feel like that could lead one down a path of deception, basically. I just felt, as I said, like that I was constantly waiting for a big break. I was very money driven. I wanted the big career. I wanted to be a career woman, not be a stay-at-home mum. I wasn't like bothered about kids and stuff like that. I wasn't bothered about settling down. I was just into the whole like career thing and being strong and independent and all that stuff, which the left pushes on us constantly. So yeah, basically, so that was me in uni. Fast forward to December 2020, well, November 2019, not December 2020. That was a bad year. But yeah, anyway, November 2019, I was made redundant. I was a dental nurse, unfortunately made redundant. No fault of theirs. They just couldn't find a replacement dentist when one left, and then I was the newest there, so unfortunately it was me that had to go. But they were a really lovely team of people, no fault of theirs whatsoever. However, I was getting ill. When back in work, I was having a lot of like my episodes and like meltdowns and stuff. I've got borderline personality disorder. That's another story for another time. Because I'd like to raise awareness about it, because it is stigmatized quite a bit. So I would like to raise more awareness about that. So I was made redundant, but in a way I think it was a blessing in disguise. And then after that, I don't know what it was, but I just felt like a spiritual shift in me a little bit. Like I felt like God was perhaps preparing me. Like, this is looking back, like at the time I didn't think this. But looking back, I think that God was prepping me for my salvation. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and was like, bam, I believe in God now. It was a slow process that led up to my salvation, and that's what I want to share with you guys. So I was still sort of into the new agey stuff, but not really dabbling. So I still had all the books on my shelves and things like that, but I wasn't dabbling, so to speak. I just started to become more grateful for the little things, like having a roof over my head, having food, having my cat, and just being really grateful for those things. And the thoughts of like having a big career and having loads of money and aiming for these big goals and stuff just started to dissipate. I wasn't focusing on the law of attraction and stuff as much. I think deep down I was starting to see that it's just gives people false hope, and it just teaches people to be mini gods who can manifest whatever they want. It's very self-centered. So it's just basically, very self-centered and stuff. So I sort of came away from that in my own doing. It wasn't anything to do with my salvation just yet. I think God had something to do with it, but I just didn't know that yet at that point. So yeah, I'd come away from it completely, but was still kept like all my like books and like stuff like that. And then fast forward to January, it was like Holocaust Memorial Day, and I just remember just feeling really grateful for the things I had at that time, because obviously it's a really dark period in history, and I did a lot of reflection of like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky to even have my bed. Like, it was just things as small like as that, which we just take for granted. And yeah, I was just feeling really grateful for it, like all of a sudden. So yeah, after that, yeah, February 2020. Oh yeah, I was drinking quite a lot in January though, because I was having like really bad anxiety. That was the only thing. Like I was drinking wine like sort of 5 times a week. And yeah, I was drinking like quite a bit. But anyway, a bit more on that after. So in February, one of my best mates, Alex, he passed away. Really good friend of mine, really good friend of a lot of people. We hung out with the same crowd of people in the alternative scene here. And so, yeah, he was friends with a lot of people. The funeral that he had, yeah, was so big that there were people outside the door because it was so full. Like, that's how great a guy he was. That's how many people, like, liked him and stuff. And we used to go to like a monthly like goth night thing, and I'd pre-drink at his, and then afterwards I would stay at his in his spare room as well. When I went through a traumatic experience in 2019, he let me stay at his as well. And when I went to court, November 2020, I'm all over the place. Like God really helped me through that. But anyway, that's post-salvation. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. So yeah, basically, yeah, he passed away, and grief just basically threw all these different emotions at me, like obviously sadness, anger, guilt. I was having dreams that I was like seeing him again, and that I could say all the things I wanted to say to him, like you're a really good friend, blah blah blah, and all that. That is so weird, but then it also made me question my faith, like my spiritual beliefs at the time. Because I'd always just say I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. And so basically, I went to church with my two friends, Kay and Sharon, because I knew that they were churchgoers. And so I asked if I could tag along with them just to see what it was all about. I didn't give myself to Jesus at this point. I did think that it was a lovely service, really nice vibe, but I wasn't sure yet if I believed. I had all these questions, like, you know, the generic, why does suffering happen if we've got like this almighty, powerful God? You know, all those sort of generic questions that new believers or people who don't believe will ask, you know, it's a pretty standard question, isn't it? So I still didn't know at that point whether, you know, whether I believed or not. But I thought, do you know what? If it's going to happen, it's personal. And that's what Sharon was teaching me. So basically, we went into full-blown UK lockdown, and Kay and Sharon basically asked if I wanted to stay with them at their house and bring Charlie along, and stay there with them so that I wasn't on my own. So I said, yeah, why not? It'd be really, really lovely to spend some time with you guys. And then in the evenings, I don't even know how it happened, but like Sharon and I just started doing like Bible studies and devotionals, and we're just talking about faith. And she was telling me about how her faith has done so much for her. And I was just like, wow, like Jesus has like done so much for her, whereas this new age stuff has done nothing for me. Yeah, some of it looks pretty, some of it looks nice, but it's not really done anything to change me for the better. And so, and she said she could feel a spiritual change in me as well. And it was so exciting. It was such an exciting moment. But at that point, I still wasn't saved. I still didn't know. But I did start praying, which was weird. I was praying before I was saved, but I knew that, do you know what I mean? I still, like, you know, when you've got like one foot in the door and one foot out. So even though I was praying, I wasn't fully in it yet. So then about a month later, I went home. I went back to my flat with Charlie, and I basically was sitting in the living room one day, and all my new age books were like on the shelf, like the shelf behind me. And I remember 6 years ago at that point, so back in 2014, I came across these Christians for a friend. It was like my friend's sister and her partner. They're married now. But yeah, they basically warned me about the new age and said how like dangerous it is and stuff, and how like turning to Jesus Christ is like much better. And at the time I thought, oh, they're just narrow-minded. But basically I could see that they were just saying it from a place of care and stuff. And then when I was saved, I messaged them telling them that 6 years later I was saved and stuff. And there was another guy back in 2015 who warned me about the new age, and I told him that I was saved as well. And he said that he'd been praying for me for 5 years. Like, how crazy is that? And so he was really happy as well for my salvation. So yeah, as I said, I was sitting in my living room, and I was drawn to the books by Doreen Virtue on my shelf. Don't worry, this isn't going the way you think it is. And I remember that she'd mentioned God and stuff in some of her books and decks and things like that. And so I thought, oh, surely I can still like dabble in this stuff. I don't have to leave it completely, because I think that was one thing that was hindering me from full salvation, for giving myself to Christ, was I don't want to leave this new age stuff, you know. But I did, and I ended up going on her website, and she basically renounced everything, gave her life to Jesus. And basically I was reading her like blog for quite a bit, watching her YouTube videos, and was learning all this stuff about the New Age stuff that I was agreeing with. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, that is, you know, that is deceptive. Oh my gosh, like the law of attraction is a load of baloney and doesn't lead to anything great, you know? And I basically repented then and there and basically gave my life to Jesus, never looked back ever since. Started to go to church when COVID restrictions eased. Started going to like an Anglican church in town, really lovely, welcoming people. The priest Sam, really lovely guy, got me baptised and everything. And basically said when you get baptised, you're basically committing to the faith, you're committing to God. Doesn't mean it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows, you know, you may still have some turbulent times in life, but you have God there by your side. And I just feel like so much more comforted. I got a Bible shortly after I was saved. I was reading the Bible and I was like, I'm scared that there's going to be stuff that's going to be like stumbling blocks. And I'm not going to lie, there are certain things which I'll question. But overall, I was reading like the Gospels and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true. That's such a good teaching. Oh, wow. Like, yeah, it was just such like a revelation. I was like, oh my days, like I wish I'd turned to this sooner, but better late than never. I'm really glad that I did. And I pray that more people turn to the Lord as well for comfort and for salvation, because honestly, it has just made me a better person. Like I still sin, I still stray, got pins and needles in my foot, but it's one of those things where you will always feel comforted and God will not let you stray too far. And if you do stray, he'll bring you back again. He'll convict you gently and he'll bring you back. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like I don't need to worry as much. Like in Psalm 23, like the starting line says, the Lord is my shepherd. And that's what I remember when I'm straying. Like the Lord is my shepherd and he'll bring me back. The Lord is always in the back of my mind, even when I'm sinning in thought, because we sin in thought, word and deed. Even when I'm sinning in thought, he will convict me. And it's not in a horrible way. It's in a, Rosie, remember not to think like this way. This is old ways of thinking, you know. So yeah, he's just really, really helped. It's really, really helped. But I understand as well that the Christian faith, it's about relationship with God. It's personal. It's not about religion. It's not about like dictation and stuff like that. It's about a relationship and it's personal. And so I would never force anyone into this. If somebody wants to talk to me about faith, if somebody wants me to sit down with them and talk about Jesus with them, I'd happily do that. But I would never force my beliefs on somebody else. I would only hope and pray that people find the same comfort that I have. And as I said, it doesn't mean that you're going to live a completely like lavish lifestyle. There's going to be challenging times, and there's going to be times where people challenge or even mock your faith. I've had that as well, not by many people, but I have had that by like one or two. So yeah, there's all these things, you know, as well. But honestly, I would never go back now. I'd never look back. The New Age stuff, I got rid of all of it. I got rid of about £1,000 worth of like books, magazines, card decks, tarot cards, everything. Yeah, I just got rid of like the lot. So yeah, and I feel better for it. It was hard at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, all this stuff looks so pretty. I've spent so much money, but money doesn't matter. And especially when it comes to the afterlife, money is not going to matter. What matters is, you know, the treasures that you're storing up for heaven, the good deeds that you do, they are the things that matter. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it, and I hope that you guys, yeah, hope that you guys enjoyed. Please give it a like or a comment. I'd love to hear like your testimonies as well. And subscribe if you're feeling extra generous and want to like hear more content like this. I plan to like post more sort of Christian content, faith stuff, a bit of lifestyle, a bit of health and well-being as well. So if you're into all that stuff, please subscribe. I'd be really, really grateful. So yeah, take care guys and stay tuned for more. Bye.